Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler from Melda Production, and today I thought we'd go over some of the medium gain amps in MTurboamp. Before I did a video comparing some of the clean amps, and this time I thought I'd go over some of the medium gain amps. Some of these amps can also do clean sounds, or they can do high gain sounds, but I want to focus on those kind of like crunchy sounds that aren't so over the top and high gain, but definitely aren't clean. The ones I want to feature here are ones that I made, and it's not because, other people are bad or those other amps aren't good, but I know these and I'm more familiar with these, so I can kind of give you an idea of how these work. And I want to show you some of the differences in sounds, features, etc. I know in the clean video, people are saying like some of these are a little bit, subtle, the differences, but here I don't think they're really that subtle. So I'm going to try to, go over that. First, I should say though, to make this fair, let's use the same speaker for all of these. So this is the setting I'm using in M cabinet for the speaker sound. And I have a little bit of reverb here using M Turbo Reverb, and that's it. So let's go through these. I have 3 different clips and I'll try to play these using the different amps. So the first one I have here is Venus. This is actually what I would say a high gain amp, but this is one of my favorite amps. It usually defaults on the red channel, but I moved it down here to the pink channel, which is a little bit lower gain. So let's hear this on the first clip. Okay, so as you can hear there, this is more like a really stringy sound. I used, I think, a coil splitting on my guitar to get that single coil type sound there. You can hear this is like fairly crunchy. I'll play it again and I'll move through some of the controls here so you can hear that a little bit better. Here we go. So I think the controls on here are really versatile. I wanted the tone controls to really kind of cover a lot of range here. But I think this is, in general, more of like a darker style amp. One thing you can do to change that is the tightness control. So let's play a different example here. Let me kind of loop this and I'll go around and play it a few times. And I'll play with the tightness and some of the other controls so you can hear what it's doing. So that tightness control will tighten up the bottom end if that's what you want. I'll show you one more control here. I guess I'm not sure if that's a good, I'll play this last clip here. So you can hear what it sounds like with a little bit lower gain there, and you can hear some of the dynamics of it. But let me go back to this example and I'll show you one more thing, this body and face. So now it's set on the body setting, which is going to give it a little bit more, I guess, low end. And then the face setting is going to, kind of put it more in your face, almost like a presence boost. So hopefully you could hear that. I like to do that sometimes. If you're trying to really cut through, you can use that face boost mode there. Let's go on to a different one here. This is Apollo. I really like this one too. I turn the gain up on this. If you turn the sunshine up, that's also a gain boost, but it also changes the tone slightly. This one, I turn the gain up here. So this is like the almost like clean channel. So we can get a crunchy tone. So let's go back here, play it. So that's how it sounds. I don't want to go through all the bass and treble controls for all of these because it's going to take forever, but I will show you one interesting thing that's really cool with this. It has the tilt control, which will really shift the whole thing. So if you're thinking like, like even if I turn the bass all the way up, it's not enough, or if I turn the treble all the way up, it's not enough. You can use this. If you move it down, it'll become bassier. If you move it up, it'll become like higher, I don't know, more trebly, I guess. And also, the same controls still work, so you can just do that if you think like, this control sounds good, but I just need it a little bit brighter. Just move the tilt up or down a little bit. Let's play it again. So I think this is a great amp. I use this a lot, actually. This, I don't know if it's my second favorite amp, but it's one that I use a lot. I use this probably more than I do the Venus, although I think I like the Venus better, but I use the Apollo more. Let's go to the next one. Here we have this Kensington. This is actually one of the first ones I made here. I'll let you hear this. I'll play it on this one so you can hear kind of like the tonal quality of it. Now this one sounds almost boxy, and you might be wondering why, and it's because I defaulted the Z to 0%, the Z control, whereas the other ones I put it up higher. I'll move this around so you can hear what this actually does. So what that's doing is it's kind of like scooping the mids, and I think it probably sounds better higher, but even then, this is still almost like a really mid-focused amp, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes you're like, I don't like that, boxiness. I don't want that in my song. But other times you think like, none of the other amps are working. And you put this in here and it just fills the right spot. I find this is really good if you need to like double something for a rhythm part. Sometimes that mid boost or that mid focus really helps to like thicken things up. So this is a nice one for, crunch sounds. Let's go up to this one, Minerva. Let me turn this down a little bit. Play it. So this one's more American style and it has a really thick bottom end, so you might want to turn the bass down when you're doing that kind of stuff. And I would probably not use it for something like that at all, although you could if you want. But I think it sounds better for this type of stuff. To me, something like that sounds better, but of course, change it however you like. But that's the basic thing with Minerva. Here's another one, Thomas Classic. This is maybe the first amp I made. I'm not sure. I'll let you hear it here. Let's play it with this example. So the same thing applies to this as applied to Kensington with the Z control. I have it set at 0, the default, but you might want to move it up. But if you like it at 0, you can leave it there. And another thing with this amp here is you see this high cut here. Sometimes there's a little bit too much high end. If you want to cut that off, just move this and it'll, get rid of some of that fizz. Another thing I should mention with this also has a power amp setting, so you can move this up or down to kind of change the character of the distortion. I'll move that so you can hear what that does. So it creates like almost like a different, maybe sounding distortion by using that. So you can turn that, up or down depending on what you like and the style you like. Next one, we have the KC Special. I showed you this one before on the Kansas setting. Now I have it on the Missouri setting, and I have the gain almost all the way up. For this type of material, I don't really like it, where it's like that really heavy rhythm. I'll let you hear this. I don't particularly like that with the low end, but for this type of like cleaner single coil material, I like it. I like that. I can really hear the stringiness. I might want to turn the presence down. That might be a little bit over the top, but I like the general idea that I can, hear the, the strings of it through there. I'll play it with this one too. This might be a good match as well. That's a problem with those single coils. It's leaving a little bit of noise and hiss. I apologize for that. But that should give you an idea what the KC Special can do for these types of like distorted sounds. Next one we have is Juno. I'll let you hear it here. This one, normally it starts with a boost off, which is fairly clean, but if you put the boost on, it can get a bit dirty. This one has a completely different tone stack. You can adjust the bass of the treble, and as I showed you, you can do the high cut if it's too, high indie. You're hearing some fizz. And of course, the bright switch will cut out some of the bottom, so it sounded a little bit flubby at the bottom there, which I didn't like. But using the bright switch will change that. And I'll play it here on this example as well. There we go. And do one more, last one. Play it here. So you can hear it. This one also has a bright switch. You can switch it from bright to dark. That was dark. I'll move it back and forth so you can hear it. And this one is generally pretty clean, but I have the gain all the way up. If you want even more gain, try adjusting the power amp settings here like this. Now let's play this example. So I think this one has like a different feel than all the other ones also. What I wanted to do with these is make them all sound a little bit unique. So as I have the same cabinet for all of these, and I have this beautiful A-being system, try to keep them, somewhat the same. I didn't mess with any of the tone controls here. I'll leave the Z control up for these, so everything will be close to even at least. And let's just listen to this first example, repeat it, and I'm going to switch through the different amps so you can actually hear that they do sound different. So that was a quick run through of all the different amps there. There's more than I showed here. There's other, mid-gain amps that you might want to check out. It's just, I only have so many letters, only A through H, so I can't show all of them. But I hope I showed you some and showed you like these do actually sound different. They have different tone stacks. They have different amounts of distortion, etc. They have different switches. Like some of them have the tight switch. Some of them have the high cut. Some of them have power amp settings, some of them don't. Some of them have either like dynamic settings and sag on them. So they should all have a different feel and a completely different sound. And when you're doing this, using these A/B settings are really useful, because if you try a song, you're like, I really like this Venus amp, but something's not quite right. Just go to the B section and try a different amp, like maybe Apollo, and that'll give you the sound you want. And it's really easy that if you think, you know what, the Apollo really isn't better than the Venus, all you have to do is just click back. You have all your same settings there, and you can just go on with your day. So you can always A/B, and you don't have to worry about losing some setting, etc. So hopefully that answered all your questions about the medium gain amps and MTurboamp. If it didn't, leave me a question down below. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.